Let's think about now your own company, your own main product or service. You might be interested into developing a platform strategy of your own. How would you know whether your technologies have the potential to become a platform? Do you have yourself the potential to become an orchestrator of innovation from all around the world? Do you want, and how could you, develop your own ecosystem of complementary developers? Well, I've been working on these issues for the past 15 years. And we actually have now quite a lot of knowledge out there about how to design platforms from a technological point of view, but also what are the business choices that we need to make in order to encourage complementary developers to develop products for you. We have also developed knowledge about how can one platform and their ecosystem, how can they compete successfully with other platforms and other ecosystems. So there is a lot of knowledge out there. But what I wanted to do is to summarize to you some of the important points. In order for a company to become a platform leader, that is to lead innovation in a particular direction that is good for my company, while encouraging and stimulating complementary innovation around the platform, there are 4 levers of action that the managers of my company have to act upon. The first one is to think very carefully about the scope of my company. What do I make myself versus what do I let others do? If I'm trying to have a scope that is too broad from the beginning, I'm going to discourage developers of complementary innovation. However, there will be some cases where if I'm, for example, a video game console maker, such as Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo, it will be helpful if I come up with a few hit games whenever I launch a new version of my console. That will act as a seed to create momentum and to stimulate interest by complementary developers. So the first lever is scope. The second lever is technology, and in particular the design of the technology. Here the questions that one needs to think about are: how modular is my technology? Where are the interfaces? How open are these interfaces? How easy is it for complementary developers to develop applications or complementary software or products that will be compatible with my product? Will I share with them software developers kits? Will I open my APIs, my application programming interfaces? These are the types of questions that one needs to think about when one designs a platform. So first lever was scope, second lever is technology. The third lever has to do with managing relationships with complementors within my ecosystem. That's the topic of ecosystem governance. Am I going to be seen by my complementors as predatory and taking advantage of them just because I can? Microsoft developed a bad reputation for itself in the late 1990s and early 2000s for that behavior, which created a lot of antagonism in the industry, which backed up a strong antitrust lawsuit against them. Or am I going to be more mindful of creating a vibrant ecosystem? The way I could do that is by thinking carefully about keeping enough money on the table that will be available for my complementors, and not extracting or squeezing too much margin from them to keep their incentives going. The last lever will have to do with managing internally within my own company. And what we have found is that creating a platform strategy will always create internal tension within the company. This is because a platform leader can not only think about itself in a traditional competitive way, it has to think about itself, yes, as a competitor to other platforms, but also to a collaborator, to its whole team, an extended team of complementors. What that means is that successful platform leaders have to learn to be both competitors to some companies and collaborators to other companies. Sometimes what happens is that these roles get divided up into different divisions or different groups of the organization. And that tends to create tensions between these groups because of the way they get evaluated, where one company will be willing to share technological information and even intellectual property with complementers on interfaces. Another part of the company will get worried about oversharing and will say, we need to stop sharing and be closed on our intellectual property because we need to make money out of this. So let me summarize. We've identified 4 levers: scope, technology, external relationships with complementers, and internal relationship inside the company. And these 4 levers, what we have found is that they need to be dealt in a coherent manner. That is, the decisions that are being made from the technology side need to be coherent with the decision about scope. And they need to be coherent with the other 2 levers as well. That gets to be a bit tricky because usually these functions are divided up in a corporation within different divisions. So it's very important to have roles or create roles, platform champions, which overlook and who coordinate the coherence between these different decisions. I want to leave you with a checklist. Questions to think about, actions to take when you want to build your own platform business. And as you can see on this slide, I have identified 7 points here that should be helpful when you want to try to develop your own platform business. I hope you find asking yourself how to build a platform strategy made easier by these tools, and I look forward to hearing from you. Good luck.